Hey everyone, and welcome back to At the Table, the show that asks you to pull out some chairs, get your TTRPG books, and join us at the table. We are so excited to talk about the Mwangi Expanse, all the really cool stuff that's in it, some of the ancestries, and if we have time, maybe the new player's guide that just dropped for free. But before we do, I want to give a big thank you and hello to the person joining us today, G-Dubs. Tell them who you are and where they can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Oh, hey, what's up? Happy to be here. Hey, everyone, I'm GW. You can find me on IG and Twitter under GW005. That's 2 B's and 2 zeros. You can also find me on Clarion Dawn, which is a sci-fi audio drama I do. I was blessed to work on this with so many awesome voice actors and talent. You can find that at clariondon.com. I play a poet in space. I love it. And lastly, you can find me on Fable 42 on Fridays, where I play in Duke City Chronicles, our Monster of the Week campaign. I play a divine playbook. So my guy is basically, my monster hunter is like the edgy, angsty angel boy of the team.
Nice. I love that. It's like I'm so holy. I'm in so much pain. Ow, the edge. Michael, yeah, please tell them who you are and where they can find you on that sweet, sweet internet.
Well, as always, I am Michael Powell, and I'm here, and my social medias at Mr. Kapow. That's MRKAPAO, and I just dropped a bunch of my pens all over the place while I was trying to set up my headphones.
Excellent.
Awesome possum. Well, doing a quick old shout out to the chat. Tiny Tyrant 89, great to see you. Also, my name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Come find me, come friend me. Let's have a good time. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So, basically, I think a little while ago, the Mwangi Expanse dropped, and all the information, the lore book, and what I love about this, it's not just like, I think, a couple hundred pages of good, juicy lore, and some great culture, and some awesome stuff. It's also ancestries, magic, backgrounds, abilities, including some new level 20 feats, or is that Ruby Phoenix? Either way.
That's Ruby Phoenix.
Ruby Phoenix, thank you for correction. Either way, this book is insane. It's so good. And we want to cover two different ancestries, the Goloma and the Grippli. And you know, who better to join us on this adventure than a fellow friend and great nerd. G-Dubs are happy to have you here. It was such a blast playing with you on the charity game, and hopefully we can take a few nights of yours away every week, or a week or here and there with Nat20 Productions, because they're so much fun. So yeah. So let's start off with, I think we decided we did a little pre-talk, a little behind the curtain look, did a pre-talk, and we're going to start off with the Goloma Ancestry. So really fast, for those of you watching home, the Goloma, this is a rare ancestry, meaning that, you know, please talk to your GM first before you decide to show up to a game, as this may have abilities or flavor or whatever that may not work in their campaign, or may give you a bit of an edge over other character choices. So I think let's do a quick breakdown of the fluff. Do you want to go first, G-Dub, on that fluff where it says Golomas fear most? Because it's super good stuff.
Yeah, I'll go first. I love that. So even though Golomas are they're seen as very fearsome and intimidating and all that, they actually are some of the most scared people that you could meet. Like, they are afraid of you. Like, their culture is that there's like lots of stories to people trying to come after them for like their eyes, because they have like so many eyes. So they always see themselves, even though they're very, very smart, they always see themselves as the prey in all situations. So their thing is to puff up and to, you know, frighten you away so they can like run away and have their own peace. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a cross between a pufferfish and
Yes.
soft boys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. The last time we were covering ancestries, we talked about one of the ancestries, the Anadi, and they're very similar because they're terrifying 6 feet tall spiders that have learned to like camouflage themselves into spider people because it's like we know we're scary, we just want to be friends, and it's like stop being so damn wholesome. I can't handle how cute these are. The quick breakdown of the fluff says Golomas fear most other people and deliberately use their unusual biology to frighten off those they consider to be dangerous predators. Rarely seen and poorly understood, Goloma's many eyes and wooden-faced visages instill terror in most they meet. Though just as capable of being dangerous as any intelligent creature on Galarian, Golomas have a deep-rooted psychological understanding that they are prey, and that all two-eyed people are predators. As a result, Golomas rarely reveal themselves to others, and when they do, they often adapt threatening personas as a means to protect themselves. Even though few Goloma who venture out into the greater Mwangi society often have trouble relating to their ancestries due to their strong differences in perception and mindset. And so you really kind of get, like what GW said, like this is like a whole, what is it? Looks like they could kill you is a cinnamon roll. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I also really like that how they used wooden mask in their culture. Actually, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the pictures of these of this ancestry is really cool because like they almost have like, imagine if you will, like Beta Ray Bill style horse heads, and then like 6 to 8 like glowing spider eyes. It's actually kind of cool, a little terrifying, and those wooden masks that they have kind of cover up the rest of their face. It's a really fun aesthetic.
The wooden mask remind me of a little bit like the xenomorphs' heads.
A little bit, but like in the
Yes.
opposite direction, right? Like instead of back, it's like forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Just physical description. So Golomas are humanoids with rough skin that changes in color from warm brown to ebony, although sickly gray or white individuals with albinism are not uncommon. Their fingers and feet are coated with a thin layer of chitin. A Goloma's face is an oblong wedge made of smooth chitin, almost resembling a wooden mask. Protruding from its face are 8 gelatinous, shining eyes. Okay, you lost me at gelatinous. That's gross. A Coloma's mouth and jaw are located beneath their faceplate, and a bony crest juts out from the top of their chitinous visage. The back of a Goloma's head and its neck is coated in black hair that is filled with thousands of tiny, peering eyes. These eyes tend to glow and scream as they look around. It's unsettling for most. It's unsettling to read. That's terrifying.
You know, I thought the same thing. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you look at the image that Paizo has provided in their books, they look like, at least the head part, horses.
Yeah, a little bit. I was gonna say, I was, when I read that, I kind of thought the same thing, because their physical description comes after everything that you know about like their history. So I was just like, okay, so I mean, I know that this said like because of their features they look kind of scary, but how scary can they be? And I was reading, I was like, oh, but like near like the middle end of that, have you all seen that show, Steven Universe?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so one of the premises of the show is that like these characters can like merge into one and be like stronger, bigger, and more powerful. And when they do that, a lot of times they come out like something like this, but yet it has a certain level of beauty to it. So that's kind of like how I was like, oh, that's really creepy. But then again, that could be beautiful in a certain angle.
Yeah.
But then when I got to the mini eyes and the hair, I was like,
Yeah. Jumping in the chat really quick, Reap Psyche posted, but not a horse crab, a horse with crab chitin?
Yeah, it's not a horse crab. It's a horse in a crab, if that makes any sense.
If anything, that's even more terrifying.
That's oof. That's nightmare fuel.
am I the only one who had to look up chitin a couple of times after reading that? Am I the only one who had to look up that word?
You know what's so weird? Chitin or chitin or whatever. It's one of those words that like TTRPGs love to just throw around. You read one book and it's everywhere.
Yeah,
It's funny you say that because as of late, like this is maybe like the fourth thing in like a certain line in a certain amount of time that's using Chitin or Chitin. I was like, popular.
yeah. TTRPG designers and developers, they're all using the freaking Thesaurus.
Yeah, we've definitely had times on the show where it's like, I don't know what this word is. Why did you put this in here? You could have used any other word.
You're just gonna put it crab shell. Just put crab shell.
Is that what it is though? Because I looked it up like 3 different times and I like really read the different meanings and I was just like, so is it like some kind of just kind of wetness gland on the thing? Because it was talking about kind of like fungi, like the certain cellular wall of the fungi, and then it was talking about insects with like an exoskeleton. So I was just like, so is it hard? Is it not? Is it gelatinous? I'm confused.
Yeah, because I know. Yeah, because I know bugs have like chitinous armor for their exoskeleton. I think it's a type of like bioorganic plating that happens somewhere in the cell structure or body structure.
I'm about to gross you all out, but
hit me.
In my head, I think of it as texture. It's crunchy.
Oh.
I mean, you're not wrong. Crabs is crunchy, bugs is crunchy. Mushrooms aren't crunchy, though, not to my knowledge.
Really fresh ones. They have when you bite into it. If you bite into a raw, edible, mushroom, there's like a little crunch, a little snap, like a hot dog.
You heard it here first, folks. Mushrooms are crunchy. Golomas are mushrooms. All right, moving right along. Speaking of crunch, this is actually a great segue. Speaking of crunch, let's get into the mechanics of the Ancestry. They give you 8 hit points at the beginning, which is really solid. I think some of the Ancestries we may be covering only give like 6 or 4. So the fact this thing gives you 8, pretty hardy. Medium-sized creature with a 30-foot speed, which is pretty good. Most humanoids only give about 25. Ability boost is Wisdom and 1 free ability boost. So if you're kind of looking at the math of it, these may tend to blend towards divine casters, clerics, and druids, and maybe a little bit of monks and... Why am I blanking on it? Ranger. There we go. Languages. They speak Goloma, Mwangi, and additional languages equal to your intelligence modifier if it's positive, choosing from Abyssal, Aklo, Draconic, Elven, Halfling, Necrol, which I think is the language of the dead, Orcish, and Sylvan. Hold on, let's see what Necrol is. Yeah, totally the language of the dead. And they have one last ability called Eyes in Back. As GW's mentioned, they have a lot of eyes and all over their hair and their head, and this gives them basically like 2 30-foot cones front and back. I mean, good luck as a GM trying to roleplay that. Like, okay, you see it in the back or the front. I don't know.
Yeah, and also fingers crossed you don't have that phobia about many eyes.
It's so funny you say that because I played a character a while back and like one of their features that I rolled for is that they have like many eyes or whatever. I did like the costume and stuff for it, so I kind of like drew on my face like a lot of different slits and stuff. And like in the middle of that game, I started to get so many messages talking about trypophobia. I think it's called.
Fear of holes.
Or like a fear of like a clutter of holes or something like that. And I was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But yeah, that's definitely a legit fear.
Yeah, they even used that on one of the seasons of American Horror Stories, I believe.
I can believe that. I can 100% believe that.
I feel like that's one of those fears that like came from something else, and then it just got embedded in like psychological part of our mind, and we just kind of generalize it. Like, I think there's a bunch of bugs that do that. They make like giant bees. Bees do that. I want to say there's also like maggots and ants and hornets and termites. They just make a bunch of little holes in an area, and they kind of make like little mini nests in there.
I also want to point out, unlike some of these more rarer ancestries in Pathfinder, one of the things is Golomas, they don't have a disadvantage ability.
Oh yeah, that's also a good point. Sometimes when you have an ancestry, like you get these 2 boosts, and then sometimes it's like a disadvantage. You get like a -2 to a certain stat. I've been noticing though that as Paizo makes more and more content, the disadvantage boost does kind of pop up less and less, especially for rare ancestries, which I like.
But I think we should jump into Goloma Heritages now.
Yeah, sure. GW, do you want to take us away with the first heritage at the top there?
First heritage at the top. Let's see what we got here.
It should be Farsight.
Farsight. Where is it? What? Oh, wait, no. Is it? No. Goloma's Most Fear? No, that's not it. Under what bracket are we looking at?
Goloma Heritages.
Yeah, you look at the Goloma Heritages, click that, and go from there. It should be right there in that list.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, Farsight.
Yes.
All right. Your eyes have adapted to see more in less than favorable conditions. You gain low light visible.
Dark vision.
Low light vision. Low light vision.
Yeah. It's basically dark vision.
Yeah, it's like Dark Vision 1.5, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
You know, free low light vision. Now, see, I'm gonna put a bet right now that they're gonna give you low light vision with this heritage, and then when we choose the ancestry Goloma feats, like the Goloma feats, like after we're done with this, there's for sure gonna be a level 1 feat that gives you dark vision if you have low light vision.
Yeah.
That's always the way.
It's always the case, really.
You know, another cool thing about them is that even though it doesn't really give off any kind of disadvantage, really, or anything, that I believe they, even though they're all seeing, it's hard for them to discern certain distinguishable people from like a group. Like they can see everything they can like from one entire group, but it's difficult for them to see like two different persons that are somewhat similar.
Kind of like,
like that.
what's that one thing? Face blindness, which is a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's also like oh gosh, I want to say like an instinctual predator view, like when you see a bunch of bodies moving, your brain doesn't like pick out each one. It just goes a lot of movement, probably like a pack coming to attack you, so you pick up that greater movement faster, and then you're able to like get away from threats faster.
So it's kind of like how they say like T-Rexes, like, or is it bears? Like if you keep moving, you're gonna mess it up or something.
Oh gosh, I want to say that was with the T-Rex, but I think someone said that like that was I think they said like that was incorrect for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know. There's always information that we get wrong about dinosaurs. I can't. We're always getting something goofed up. Okay, next up, I'll take the Frightful Goloma. Your face has a particularly off-putting appearance. You are trained in Intimidation, or another skill of your choice if you're already trained in Intimidation, and you gain the Intimidating Glare skill feat as a bonus feat. I always love it when they give you a skill proficiency and a free feat. Like, free stuff, that's always great. And you can prepare going forward if you're going to take this. Like, okay, I'm going to get Intimidation for free. I'm going to, like, mentally prep that and get other feats, or get other skills, I should say, and then just get Intimidation out of that list. Bonus.
Yeah, I love Intimidation, especially when you pair with Intimidating Glare. That's actually one of the builds I have for my character Rufa on Edge of Legend, where you don't have to even say anything. You just give them like a dirty look, or give them that blue steel, and you can demoralize them.
Yeah, the Intimidating Glare as a skill feat, let me see if I remember this one. I think it just means you can intimidate without having a
without talking
component.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Demoralize, you just lose the auditory trait and gain the visual trait. Yeah, you give them the crazy eye. Yeah. Well, speaking of Rufa, why don't you hit insightful Goloma?
All right, insightful Goloma. You've learned to watch for telltale signs of dangerous sentiments to help you avoid trouble. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to your perception DC against attempts to lie to you, and your perception checks to sense motive. So you're basically like one of those poly something tests.
Polygraph?
Polygraph
Yeah,
test,
polygraph, yeah. Which should be noted, those are bubkiss. Those don't work. They just test your heart rate and your adrenaline spikes, and you could be having coffee and suddenly you're a liar. They're bubkiss.
That's
I
why
watched a
they
lot
give
of
you
stuff on
coffee
that.
when you're doing that.
So that then in the court of law, they can be like, it spiked when we asked him about the body. It's like, well, of course, because
It's caffeine.
the caffeine was kicking in. Let's see. Vicious Goloma. Do you want to get Vicious Goloma, or do you want me to get that?
I'll take that.
G-dubs. All right.
All right. The chitin on your hands form powerful claws that allow you to defend yourself. You gain a claw unarmed attack that deals a 1d6 slashing damage. The claws are in the brawling group and have the agile, finesse, and unarmed traits. So, okay, that kind of explains my earlier question about chitin. I was like, is it like gelatinous? Is it hard? It looks like it's definitely hard because it can form slashing attacks. So yeah, that's definitely armor on the hands.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
was
not-
gonna say in chat, Van Exel posted, I've always imagined it as the exoskeleton stuff on bugs and such.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And apparently it can get strong and dense enough that it can just become a weapon. And I really do like this 1d6 slashing damage because that's about as strong as a monk's unarmed attack can get. So now you already have this option of having
A monk Goloma.
a monk Goloma. Yeah, and you don't even have to worry about taking its natural ability that ups her unarmed strike. Either way, this having a free weapon and having free spells on you at all times is a blessing. And I'm sure looking at the feats requiring this, that there's going to be some bonus builds so that as you're building your character, you get to invest in these natural attacks. And it's overall good stuff.
You know, I'm actually wondering now, would our fingernails count as chitin?
That's a good question.
That's a good
actually.
question. As we all like start to examine our fingernails.
Wait a minute. Huh. I think technically speaking it could be, but it's such a weak chitin that I don't think we wouldn't be doing 1d6 anytime soon.
At least 1d4.
Oh, mate, I don't know. 1d4 is like a dagger.
I mean,
and last I checked.
I want to say it depends on where you're aiming.
Yeah, because... I was going to say, you can still scratch the heck out of somebody's face if your fingernails are sharp enough.
True. I mean, granted, it would be a lot harder to kill someone because like a 1d4 dagger, that murders pretty good. But Binary Fireball says it is not the same. It is keratin, which is different than chitin, says Google.
There
Thank
we go.
you,
There we
Google.
go.
Well, thank you. Debunked.
All right, PJ, why don't you take Vigilant Goloma?
All right, Vigilant Goloma. You've learned to be aware of not just obvious physical dangers, but also noticeable magical threats. You can cast the Detect Magic cantrip as an Arcana innate spell at will. A cantrip is heightened to the spell level equal to half your level, rounded up. In addition, your awareness allows you to notice magical traps easier than others. That's actually really good. Your proficiency rank in perception is considered one step better when attempting to detect magical traps. Trained is considered expert, and expert is considered master, and master is considered legendary. Okay.
Wow.
I gotta put out, Okay, it's like 1d6 slashing damage. That's really good. You got a weapon at all times. Low light vision. That's not bad. You know, and having these nice skills, these nice skill feats, getting a free cantrip and just being one step better at locating magical traps. I mean, you may not run into a lot of them. That's really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is actually really good for a Arcane Trickster rogue build.
Yeah, a little bit difficult in Pathfinder 2E to pull off. You'd have to multi-class a bit, but like,
No?
just a rogue that has detect magic and
Actually,
perception is nice.
I don't believe so because one of the rogue rackets, I believe here. Just gonna look it up real quick.
Oh, okay.
It's called Elrish Trickster.
Eldritch Trickster.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why. I was gonna say last time I checked the rackets, and they may have added in the advanced core rulebook. It was mostly non-magical, so that's really cool. They add that.
I
add
believe
that back in.
Elrish Trickster has been there since the core. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's in the advanced player's guide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so we've done the heritages. Look at this awesome thing. Let's see what these feats look like. So if you can, we're going to go to the Goloma feats, and we're going to start off from number un. Michael, you want to get us started off with Catch the Details?
Sure. Catch the Details. It's a level 1 feat. You are quick at recognizing broad details about people and things around you. You are trained in society and gain the Eye for Numbers skill feat. If you would automatically become trained in society from your background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. Honestly, society always useful, especially if you're playing in kind of a urban campaign, if you're like in the city for a long period of time, or I will say though, Eye for Numbers is just basically gives you hand wave. You do math very well. You can count really quick.
Yep, it's a one action skill feat that requires a society. Basically, it's the F you pay me. GM, give me the details. I don't have time. Just let me know what it is. And a +2 circumstance bonus to decipher writing, like if someone's using a math code. Which, if someone's using a math code, slap that GM, because that I'm not here for Alan Turing stuff. All right, I'm here to have. I can't. My brain.
Yeah, that's
Can't do
why
that.
on our phones we have calculators now.
Yes. Yes.
Man.
Must need.
Big need. Big have. Next up is Coloma Courage. You want to get that one for us, Mr. G-Dubs?
I got you. All right. The most important thing you've learned living with fear is how to overcome it. When you roll a success on the saving throw against a fear effect, you get critical success instead. In addition, you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to will saves against fear effects, and a +2 circumstance bonus to your will DC against attempts to demoralize you. Ooh.
Nice. So, I mean, this is. I was gonna say, like, there's a whole like fighter builds that do this, and you get it for free because of your ancestry. That's really good.
Honestly, demoralize is a skill that anybody can do, and you actually being able to have a bonus against it, it's really good. It's really good, especially if you have a GM that likes to throw that out at you a lot.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not me.
Oh.
I don't.
Or a player, or I'm gonna say a player that likes to throw it out against a GM a lot.
Yes. Now that I'm gonna call you out, Michael. That is definitely what you do. I'm gonna take Goloma lore. This one's probably pretty straightforward. You're training. You get a trained proficiency rank in stealth and survival. If you'd automatically become trained in one of those skills for your background or class, for example, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. You also become trained in Goloma lore. So it's really cool. You get the niche lore that, it saves you from burning a skill proficiency at level 3. You can get it right away. And stealth and survival are two amazing skills. They're great in almost every tabletop you play. And this is also really good because let's say you're not a rogue or a ranger. Let's say you're a bard Goloma and for some reason didn't take these skills. You can now basically stealth with the rogue and track with the ranger.
Yeah, stealth is a bread and butter skill.
And especially when you're afraid of the world, but you still want to be visual. Oh yeah, stealth is a must-have.
Yeah.
Yo. All right, next up, Pierce the Darkness. G-Dubs, take it away.
Pierce the Darkness. Your eyes have adapted to see in all circumstances. Even without the assistance of the light, you gain dark vision, allowing you to see in darkness and dim light just as well as you can in bright light. However, in darkness, you see in black and white only. I mean, that's pretty common. Special, you can take this feat only at first level, and you can't retrain out of this feat or into this feat.
Interesting. So this is definitely like a genetic predisposition kind of thing. Some feats are like that for ancestry, where it's like because this is a part of your like anatomy, you can't be like, oh, I'm getting rid of it. Like, no, it's DNA, buddy.
Like, no, you can't get rid of your many eyes. You're set.
Yeah. Well, you can get your many eyes, but it's going to be really, really painful.
Yes. They actually, in their lore, in their, stories growing up, they have actually pretty interesting tales of why they're afraid of two-eyed people, because they think they're hunting them to steal their eyes. It's really interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. I like that. And I can kind of see that perspective too. Like when someone shows up and they have less eyes than you and they're attacking you, they're like, "Why are they attacking me? I've done that." It's my eyes. Okay.
It's my eyes. They're trying to take my eyes.
They're always after me, lucky eyeballs. All 29 of them.
All right. Well, I will take the next level 1 feat, if y'all don't mind. It's Watchful Gaze. 1 action. You use your many eyes to look at all directions at once, making you extremely observant for a short amount of time. You gain all-around vision until the start of your next turn. This lets you see in all directions and prevents you from being flanked.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if you're playing on a battle map. This this will save your ass. This will save your ass.
Yeah, especially even Theater of the Mind. What's great about this is, like, for 1 action cost, you shut down the rogue's entire game plan. If there's like a rogue NPC trying to sneak attack you, like at that point, 1d6 plus 1d6 plus strength modifier at level 1, that could put a solid hurt on you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, nah, you can't flank me. You can't sneak attack me. Deuces.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been flanked and surprised before. Like, yeah, that's pretty clutch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing Reap Psyche somewhere. Estinian's ears are perking up. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what do you mean there's a worm? I'll jump on it from very high up and squish it. Ambush Awareness. This is the first level 5 Ancestry feat. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael.
No. I was gonna say, who wants to take Ambush Awareness?
Oh, that. I ambushed you.
Yeah.
They always ambush me.
Boy. All right. So, Ambush Awareness. You get a +2 circumstance bonus to perception checks. Attempted on... Oh, as initiative rolls. Nice. Additionally, if your initiative roll result is a tie with that of an opponent, you go first regardless of whether you rolled perception or not. See, I really like this because what's cool about Pathfinder 2e is that not always, but most of the times, your perception roll is your initiative roll. But if you, like, enter a fight through stealth to sneak in, or you're hiding before the fight starts, or you are trying to use diplomacy and you do a good job, but then, like, someone declares they have to fight you or kill you, then your diplomacy or stealth can be your initiative. And this is dope because, like, you get a +2 bonus, and even if there's a tie and you didn't roll perception, you can still win the tie, no matter what.
See, this is useless for me because I, for some reason, always have the worst luck when it comes to initiative rolls. I'm usually rolling at the bottom list.
Hey, but what if you still roll bottom list and the enemy also rolls bottom list? You're still going before them.
True. All right, we have Fey Influence next, but we've gone through that. Like, that's accessible to pretty much every ancestry, which is you get some primal magic. So, GW, do you want to take Protective Claws instead?
Yeah, let's take a look at Protective Claws. Let's see what we have here. Oh, here we go. That word again. The chitin on your claws is so hard you can defend against attacks with them. Your claw unarmed attack for the vicious Goloma, I gotta say it so sometimes, Goloma Heritage, gains the parry weapon trait. That's dope. To just, like, have someone come at you and thinking that you don't have a weapon, and then you just, like, open your hand. Poof! No thanks.
Yeah.
Try again.
You know, at this point, I think we should add another little thing to our show where, you know how back in the day where on Pee-wee's Playhouse they have the word of the day? Mm-hmm. Chitins, the word of the day.
Chitin!
Everybody screams.
It takes the whole episode to like really know what it is.
And then we say it all episode, and then we actually like come out with a big thesaurus to be like chitinous and describe it. I really like, though, like you said, GW, I really love these things with the protective claws, because like parrying gives you +1 to AC, so even if you're unarmed, you're still not unarmored to some extent. And I love the idea of like just T'Challa style, like batting blades away with your bare hands. Like,
yeah, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I don't know, I just have it in my head, just them opening their a semi-armored hand just in defense. So dope.
Such a cool thing. Next up, Constant Gaze. You want to get that for me, Mr. Michael Powell?
All right. Well, this is a level 9 feat, Constant Gaze. The prereq for this is Watchful Gaze. Your eyes keep a continual watch for dangers from all sides. You can't be flanked by creatures of your level or lower, even if you haven't used Watchful Gaze. So this, as PJ likes to say, is a F you pay me feat.
It absolutely is. It basically gives you Watchful Gaze all the time. So it's like, I flank you. No, you don't, man. Stop it.
Well, at least if it's of your level or lower.
True. So like boss fights, you're probably gonna get snug up on. Boss fights can tend to be like at least a level or two higher. But yeah, if you're fighting like just donk goblins, or like, we're gonna get you. No, you football-headed morons.
Or if you're in a boss fight, but the boss also has a bunch of their own goons, you can take care of the goons while the rest of the party takes care of the big boss.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And if you're like a monk, Goloma, and you have those natural weapons, you're surrounded on all sides. There's so many ways to just become like a dodge tank. It's like, nope, you can't get me. No, not today.
Or if you're a mauler with that certain feat archetype where you can actually use another enemy as a weapon, so you can grab someone by their feet and start swinging them around.
Oh man, Mauler's like, let's put video games into tabletop. I'm gonna do a giant AoE or a lion AoE. I'm just gonna knock these fools, these suckers. I was trying to say fools and suckers. I almost said another terrible word.
Yeah, I've been on my P's and Q's. I've been good.
I'm trying so hard. Oh my god. All right, I'll take the defensive instincts. This is another level 9 feat, unless I think it's the first one. Who knows? I already lost count. It is a 1-action feat. You are required to be adjacent to at least 2 enemies, so this is also a good tanking feat. Your body tenses up when surrounded, putting you on edge just enough to anticipate an attack. You get a +1 circumstance bonus to AC until the beginning of your next turn and step. So basically, you get a nice +1 bonus to AC, and since you can step, so you can take a 5-foot step in any direction, I think as part of this, if I'm reading this right, until the beginning of your next turn, and you step.
I have a question. Would this stack with the other feat that grants your claws, the protective claws, with parry?
I think it would, if only because the language here says this is a circumstance bonus, and multiple of the same bonus can't stack, right? But parry is a weapon trait. So the parry trait is what's giving you the +1 AC. I forgot how to activate it, but that's a weapon trait. This is a circumstance bonus. They should stack.
Okay. So, but then you'll be also taking 2 actions, because 1 action for this and the other action to parry.
Yeah. So this is basically like a full defense for you. In fact, if you have like, I want to say the Bastion archetype, I might be wrong, but if you have benefits for like, you can take a stance and go full defensive action, your AC would jump by, I'm going to ballpark and say at this point with all 3 of these abilities, if possible, would be about 3 to 6 AC bonus.
So basically you're turtling.
Big time. You're turtling, and with this, you're actually stepping. So you're turtling and moving 5 feet in one direction.
Oh god, what was that? Is that Roman battle tactic where they all put the shields around each other? It's kind of like that, where they're slowly advancing.
Oh yeah. Tortuga, Testudo. One of those two. It's Latin for
I was
turtle.
way off. I was thinking the wedge. I was way off. If you're going Tortuga.
I'm still on turtling.
I mean, the wedge is real. I think the wedge is like basically like an arrow formation used to break a wall line. If I remember my tactics correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, that is the defensive tactics, which can be a part of a 3-step process to making you an absolute unit. Why don't you get Arcane Sight?
I was gonna say, or
GW?
making you really conky.
Sure.
Probably, yeah.
Arcane Sight. So this one is a prerequisite. The ability to cast Detect Magic as a cantrip. Must have that first. You trained yourself to constantly be on the lookout for magical effects, even when focusing on looking out with other things. When you are searching, you also gain the benefit of Detect Magic, unless you choose not to. See page here. Expression. Yeah. So you can do that for free. You can detect, like when you're searching, you can just have that Detect Magic benefit for free.
Yeah, it looks like you're just always detecting magic when you are making a search check, which is awesome if you think about it, because if the GM is hiding magical weapons, traps, items, whatever, you're gonna notice it. Like, why would you not want Detect Magic on?
Yeah, basically, if you're going with that rogue Elrish Trickster, build there, and also you have that Goloma Heritages basically gives you a free Detect Magic. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what I like about this is that you don't actually have to take the heritage that gives you Detect Magic for free. Obviously, it's a 1-2 punch. It makes sense. But if you're literally any arcane or occult caster, you can still qualify and still have whatever heritage you want.
All right. Well, we are now in the level 13 feat. I guess I'll take this one. It's called See the Unseen. You notice things that others can't see at all. While you're adjacent to an undetected creature of your level or lower, it is instead only hidden from you. You only need a successful DC 5 flat check to target a hidden creature. This is really good for ranger builds. Especially if you have opponents kind of hiding from you or taking cover, or hiding in, like, if somebody casts what's that one spell called, Obscuring Mist.
Yeah, because I think that does give cover. I don't know if it allows
Conceal.
them.
Concealment.
I think so. Yeah. Or it gives them bonuses for hide checks too.
Yeah, and rolling above a 5, it's not that difficult. Rolling above a 5 on a D20.
Yeah, still room for tragic error, but like it's doable.
Well, at level 13, it's not as bad, I would say.
Well, no, it's a flat check, so you don't get
true,
bonuses, just D20. And what I love about it again is like, because these Goloma, that these guys are all about their eyeballs, they have such great potential to be like the rogue antithesis. It's like, it's because rogues are all about sneaking and stealth and hiding and not being detected, and how all that goes against gives the flat-footed thing, and outnumbering them. Everything about their ancestral defensive tactics is basically shutting down the one main primary rogue tactic of either outnumber or outflank. It's like, nope, you can't. You just can't.
I just thought of something.
What's that?
Golomas would actually also really make really good investigators.
Ooh,
And now I'm envisioning a... y'all ever seen that TV show starring Tony Shalhoub, Monk? Now I'm envisioning like a Goloma monk. Like, germs!
Oh my god, I could see that now. It's
I can see that.
What do you see with your Goloma eyes? Everything. Everything, and it's filthy. It's so dirty.
That's the worst world to be in. Poor person.
Oh, it's a fresh hell. I don't have OCD. I have no CD. I have no compulsives. I'm just blind to most things. So but I can imagine. I know people that would be their fresh hell. Like, everything is wrong and gross and out of place. Last one. This is the Capstone Ancestry feat at level 17. Freebie. Can't go wrong for taking it. It's one action. You can use it once per hour. So, check in with the GM if it's been an hour since last time. When you focus your eyes carefully, your gaze can pierce through all obfuscations. That's hard to say. Obfuscations, even magical ones. When you use True Gaze, you gain the effects of a 6th level True Seeing spell using your perception modifier for the counteract check. You get a free once per hour True Sight spell.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
That's how I'm imagining triggering this would be the Goloma's going.
they'll do it that many times too because they have that many eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we all see you. I
Wow,
love
that's
that.
Pretty powerful.
What's great about that is once again it shuts down more rogue tactics, like rogues like the Elrish Trickster, right? Like, oh, I'm just gonna cast invisibility. Nope. No. I can see your telltale like predator shimmer when you move. I know it's you. Like, that is so cool. Also, thank you to Penguin Witch Doctor for correcting me. It's obfuscation. Obfuscation must be what it
Yes,
is.
it is a type of ability also in another TTRPG for vampires to use.
Yeah, I believe obfuscation and that is like a physical disguise, like a glamour disguise kind of thing.
Or manipulating shadows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that was the Goloma breakdown. Before we get into the Grippli, which I'm super excited to talk about Battletoads for an hour, because I'm gonna, what do you guys think? Like, I really love the natural weapon, the free magic, and just the absolute shutdown of rogue tactics from this ancestry.
Me as a player, I just always like knowing. I insight everything. I'm always looking. I'm always like taking the dodge action, like when moving around, whatever. So, like all this speaks to my soul in in a deep way.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Goloma.
Oh yeah, same here. For me, definitely will be a great. It would be a great rogue build, or a divination wizard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or, as I said before, surprisingly, I didn't expect this until near the end, a really good investigator build as well.
Oh yeah, 360-degree vision that like breaks all obfuscations and constantly detects magic. Like that's investigator dream sauce right there.
Yeah, imagine them in a urban campaign where you're in a city the entire time and you have to study the crime scene. You just, okay, my character goes to the middle of the room and just stands there. And he sees everything.
Everything? I see everything.
That's definitely an ability to give the DM the run for their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the F you pay me ancestry. It's like, okay, so you activate a trap. No, you don't. What? Yeah, I saw that. You didn't tell me about it, but I saw it. Okay, so they pop out of the darkness with a sneak attack. No, they don't.
No, they can't. I can't. That doesn't work either.
Nope.
Because this eyeball right here was specifically looking out for that.
One of my elbows saw them, and I was like, not today.
Oh my
Not
god.
today.
Do you guys remember one of the monsters from Power Rangers that's made all out of eyeballs? I think it's called Eye Guy.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Like Igor or something like that.
No,
I feel like I would. I feel like I do
Yeah.
remember that guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They actually recently released a toy of it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, so I love this. And also the fact that it gets a free boost to wisdom, which of course perception's based off of, means that even if you're not playing anything specific, your general perception checks are going to be bonkers. So like if you're like me and you hate not having a perception check because I play a fighter in Pathfinder First Edition and for some reason they don't get perception training at all, sucks rolling a 3 on perception every time. This is great. You literally can't go wrong. You literally can't fail.
All right. Well, as PJ said, that was the Golomas. I believe it's time to literally jump over to the Gripplis.
I see what you did. I see what you did there.
Yep.
What can I say? I'm punny.
It's a punishment sometimes. I love Grippli. I'm so excited. I
Yep.
grew up playing Battletoads, and I know there's like the Bullymong and something else in the other game. So I'm really excited to see what the frog people, the Grippli, have to offer. First and foremost, G-Dubs, what it like? You want to get us started? What do you think? What you got for us?
I had a good time. They were so like wholesome. Like reading about them, their character, their societies, and everything. This seemed so wholesome, and just their ability. Like even though they shy away from just their story, like they shy away from kind of fights and altercations and things like that. It's like they still won't just like stand back and take whatever. Like they'll rise up and like, you know what? Now it's time for us to get a little bit noble to kind of talk to you one on one because this isn't gonna fly. I love them. I love them.
Yeah, they're like less furry amphibious Ewoks.
I love that. I have to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Reap Psyche says we desperately need shark people now. Then we could have biker mice from Mars with the rat folk, Battletoads with the Grippli, and then we get street sharks.
Yeah.
And the closest thing I could think of would be the fish
beastkin?
people. The beastkin or the fish people. One of
Oh, the
other.
Ezriketi?
Yeah, the Ezriketi.
Which the
that's
video has just dropped recently.
Yeah,
like
go to our
today.
YouTube. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Just before he went live.
Yeah.
And Penguin Witch Doctor said, I just want to see a Goloma rogue sneak up on another rogue and say, are we playing hide and seek? Oh, my God. All right. Let me read you some fluff after GW's great starting point. Gripplis are shy and cautious people who generally seek to avoid being drawn into complicated and dangerous affairs of others. Despite their outlook and small stature, Gripplis often take bold and noble action when the situation demands it. Reclusive and canny, Gripplis are treetop survivalists who harvest their home's bounty and defend themselves against terrible threats. Their reliance on cunning and simple tools has led to Gripplis being mischaracterized as primitive. Yet this overlooks their shaping of the land with hidden orchids, orchards, and camouflaged causeways that allow Gripplis to live in prosperous peace. Gripplis are most likely to emerge from their forest homes to trade, explore, and combat threats that would despoil the world. Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
You know, GW said it was like they're sweet and they're like kind of like Ewok, but like only for so long. Once you cross that line, you're going to hear a ribbit in the middle of the night, and it won't be cute.
Yeah. You're gonna get a spear upside your tuchus.
Upside your tuchus. Jesus. Oh, my God.
Should I go over the mechanics, PJ?
Yeah, let's get into those crunchy crunches.
All right. Well, hit points. You start off with 6, which is not bad, especially I believe because your size is small.
Mm-hmm.
You have a speed of 25, which is usual. I'm betting I haven't looked through the feats or anything yet, but I bet there's gonna be ways to boost that.
Or at least give them, like, sick jumps.
Yeah. Ability.
Those anime jumps.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Naruto jumps.
Yes.
Or from Samurai Jack, we no fly, we jump good.
The ability boosts are dexterity, wisdom, and free. And now this one actually has ability flaws, which is strength. So you're gonna take a bit of a hit in strength, but I'm pretty sure if you're gonna be playing a Grippli, you're gonna be building towards at least a dexterity build, usually, unless you go, I guess, bullfrog or something. Languages are common, Grippli, and you can also choose from Abyssal, Aquarian, Bogard?
Abyssal, Ogwyn, Boggard.
Draconic, Elven, Irix,
Eruxi?
and Sylvan.
Yeah, apparently the only people who speak Boggard is Boggards. They're like swamp people, I guess. I don't know.
And
Hopefully
Gripplis now, apparently.
And Gripplis. And Eruxi is the language of the lizard folk.
Mm-hmm. And you also get, as your ability is low light vision, where it's, as we said before, it's dark vision 1.5. You basically could see in a dark better than like a usual human, and you also could ignore the conceal condition due to dim light.
That's pretty good too, especially like to not get sneak attacked in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. All right, so I'm gonna start things off with the Poison Hide Grippli. These are in the Grippli Heritages, and then we'll go from there. So the Poison Hide Grippli, you may be small, but the poison glands concealed across your body hide a deadly defense. You gain the toxic skin reaction, and this should be said because I think we didn't mention it. I didn't mention this in the fluff. Apparently, like most Gripplis are like kind of like poison tree frogs. Like a lot of their skin just secretes a very toxic fluid, and because of that, like when they do walk in societies that aren't Grippli societies, there's this whole taboo about touching them. Like you do not touch them because you could probably legitimately die.
Yeah, don't lick a Grippli.
Don't lick a Grippli. God. Sorry.
Unless they give you consent.
Yeah.
Unless they give you consent and you are a dwarf and that's just like not going to affect you.
Yeah, you're at the very least you're going to go on a really bad trip.
Oh man. Oh, that's kind of worse. Poison Hide Grippli, you get the toxic skin reaction. So as a reaction, a creature touches you, such as by grappling a Grippli, successfully hitting you with an unarmed attack or using a touched range spell against you. You exude a deadly toxin. The triggering creature takes 1d4 poison damage basic fortitude save using your class or spell DC, whatever's higher. At 3rd level, and for every 2 levels thereafter, the damage is increased by another 1d4. You now have a reaction-based cantrip.
Yeah, this is really good, especially if you make a monk or barbarian build Grippli which is a grappler.
You're not wrong, because that way you're forcing the effect.
Yeah, you're rubbing up against them.
Heck, even fighters. I think fighters have moves they can like run and tackle somebody, and yeah, you're being forced to do it. And if you go, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of a non-fighter class that might benefit from this. Druid, maybe.
I don't know. If you WoW shape, would you still have access to the toxic skin because you're polymorphed into an entirely different form?
Good point.
Yeah, it does say, the trait is Grippli, so I think if you polymorph, you would lose the Grippli trait. You become the trait of the animal that you are. Yeah. Jumping into chat, people are asking, let's see here, weight, range, touch, spell. That's correct. If you are doing things like Shocking Grasp or Harm, one of those spells, maybe not like the level 3 Harm, but anything where you actually have to physically touch them to cast the spell, they will have to make a basic fortitude save or take.
Yeah, that's a really good way to stack it, actually. 3
and then 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So level 20 Grippli, if you touch them, they can react doing. Come on, PJ, you count on your own fingers. You can do it again. 7d4 damage, and double that on a critical fail.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice.
For free, just because you can.
GW, why don't you take Snap Tongue Grippli?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what we got here. Snap Tongue Grippli. Your tongue is especially long, and you can launch it with extraordinary range and precision. You can use your tongue to deliver touch range spells and perform extremely simple interact actions such as opening some types of unlocked doors. Your tongue can perform actions that require fingers or significant manual dexterity, including any action that would require a check to accomplish, and you can use it to hold items as well.
Oh, you can't. Cool. You can't use it to hold items.
You can't use it to hold items as well. I see. Features required: long tongue, tongue tether.
Oh man, I'm just gonna go out and say this because I know someone other than me is thinking this. Jar Jar Binks.
I don't know who's thinking Jar Jar Binks, but
I am now.
Yeah, now it's in her head. But I do love the idea of delivering touch range spells, like a touch
Yeah,
spell.
via a tongue. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if you're playing a witch, they have entire builds based around that.
Yeah, or like a sorcerer again with like shocking grasp. Could you imagine a shocking grasp off the tongue?
Yeah.
Does it say like what the range would be?
That's the thing that I'm not a fan of. The language here does not actually give a range. And the problem is that it also doesn't give increments. So like if it would be a certain range, there could be a penalty past certain increments of that range. None of that language is here.
It might go into some of the feats that we're going to read later on. But for now, I kind of want to say give it the same range as a whip, probably.
Okay.
Maybe. I think that's a good safe GM call for like the whip range. I can also see 30 feet as like most distance in Pathfinder is done on a scale of 15. It's like 15, 30, and then 60, and then 120. Really fast. The chats. Adam Generator, great to see you. We are talking about the Grippli. And to clarify, yes, I know that in Pathfinder 1 edition, the touch AC was basically someone who did not get their armor value in a ranged touch attack. In that case, it would be like shooting a gun at someone. But in this case, it is a ranged attack that counts as like a touch. Like you have to make a contact from range. It's weird. Touch AC is not a thing in Pathfinder 2e. It's weird wording, but
jumping in chat also, Penguin Witch Doctor. I like where they're thinking. I'm thinking of Claire casting heal with her tongue.
That is really good. I like that. It's you know what you are at that point, Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yoshi,
that is
absolutely.
That is true.
Yoshi.
Nice.
That's the only time I'm gonna do that. All right.
Clip it.
No, don't clip it. No, please.
All right. Well, I guess I will take Sticky Toe Grippli. Your hands and feet exude a film that helps them adhere to surfaces. You gain a +2 circumstance bonus to your fortitude and reflex DC against attempts to disarm, shove, or trip you. When ascending trees, vines, and other foliage, if you roll a success on the athletic check to climb, you get a crit success instead. I really like this, especially with the whole disarm, shove, and trip. That could be so clutch.
I just love the any success is a crit success, like because like that's going to affect your movement, making you an insanely good climber. And at level 1, like that's really good. You don't have to become like a master in athletics. You succeed. It's a critical success. You're moving like I think your full speed or half your full speed. Like either way, really solid.
Yeah, and also the fact that you could like, kind of climb like Spider-Man, upside stuff.
Adam Generator is saying you can cast Lay on Hands with the tongue. Now I'm like imagining a champion, paladin, or redeemer, Grippli, who's just like, I'll heal you.
Like, thanks.
Oh man,
it's like, I feel better, but I feel worse.
you should do. They should give that lay on hands ability, like the licking thing, to Shunies because they're the dog people.
Oh, that's so precious. I think that's just like the flavor of how they do it. I'm gonna lay on hands, buddy. Yeah, just licking them. Oh god. I think it's my turn for Wind Web, Grippli.
Yep.
Tough webbing along your hands and toes can slow any fall. As long as you have one hand free, you take no falling damage regardless of the distance you fall.
Wow.
At level 1, you get a high-end monk ability.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane. That's so good.
That is super useful, especially it's one of those skills that's super useful if you're really tactically minded and want to take the high ground a lot.
Oh yeah, or if you're just gonna like do some jump, some dive, it gives you mobility options like crazy. Reap Psyche put in the chat, I'm sorry, what? That's the legend. That's the legendary acrobatics level catfall feat. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get it for free at level 1, so long as you have one hand open.
Yep, just one hand. All it takes.
Insane. Oh my god. Well, let's go to the feats in this bad boy and see what our boys Pimple, Rash, and guys, you know all three. Rash, Pimple, Zit. Yeah, Battletoads. See what they offer.
All right, I think it's GW's turn to take Grippli lore.
All right, let's check this out. What we got? At level 1. You are well versed in Grippli culture and tactics. You gain the trained proficiency in nature and stealth. If you would automatically become trained in one of those skills, you instead become trained in a skill of your choice. Ooh, you also become trained in Grippli lore.
It's really good. So
Yeah.
you get 2 free skills, which are awesome in almost anything, and saves you.
Bread and butter. Those are bread and butter skills.
They really are. I love that. And Grippli lore is fun because you get to be like, Grippli lore, like, is he right? Nope, you're wrong. That's not how Gripplis are, or whatever. You get to like pull some deep cuts.
All right. Next up is my turn, I believe, which is Grippli Weapon Familiarity. It's a level 1 feat. You're trained with weapons ideally suited to marshes and dense forests. You're trained with blowguns, hatchets, scythes, short bows, and composite short bows. You also gain access to all uncommon Grippli weapons. For the purpose of determining your proficiency, martial Grippli weapons are simple weapons, and advanced Grippli weapons are martial weapons. Really quick, I just wanted to see what weapons. Oh, there are 3 different weapons. I'm gonna probably butcher these, so if somebody wants to correct me, go for it. The Adziz, which is some sort of axe-like cutting tool. The hand Adziz, which I'm guessing is a smaller version, and the Rungu, which is a specialized club that's useful for both combat and hunting. I think I heard of Rungu before. I think I saw it on what it was in Forged in Fire, that A&E show.
Heck yeah. Yeah, so it's really interesting because for an ancestry that takes a penalty to strength, they have amazing weapons. The Adze, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, 2 hands, forceful, and sweep. And it's basically a big axe, a 1d10 axe. And the hand Adze is only
it's a smaller version.
Smaller version. The damage drops tremendously. It's a 1d4 instead of a 1d10.
Holy crud. Wow.
Yeah, but it's agile, forceful, sweep, and thrown. So it does everything.
You could do a weapon that then probably.
You could do weapon it, and then you could throw it 10 feet, and then jump in with the forceful trait and knock it back.
And then use your tongue to grab it back.
Oh my god,
Ooh.
Yep, because it's a bulk light, so that means your tongue can probably just grab it and pull it. You know, I said I was only make the sound effect once. I've done it many times since then. I have a cat to feed. Don't make that. Don't clip it. Okay, all right. So, weapon familiarity. It seems worth it if for nothing else than just getting these pretty awesome weapons out the bat. But let's see what Hunter's Defense is. It's a reaction. You do it once per hour. You have to be trained in nature. And the trigger of this reaction is a creature with the animal, beast, elemental, fey, fungus, or plant trait attacks you. And you can see the attacker. Your canny understanding of natural and primal creatures helps you predict and dodge their attacks. The triggering attack roll targets your nature DC instead of your AC. Oh, that could be really good. Though this allows you to avoid taking penalties to your AC, it doesn't remove any conditions or other effects causing such penalties. So, for example, an enemy with sneak attack would still deal extra damage to you for being flat-footed, even though you wouldn't take the -2 circumstance penalty against the attack. Okay, but still, like, if you're playing, I don't know, a druid and you don't have any good armor, but you have, like, a legendary nature check, you're going to be more statted for DC than
Yeah, imagine a giant
things.
elemental coming at you.
oh. And then you're like, I know how those work. Jump out the way, and you're fine.
Leap.
Leap. And the fact that this is a level 1 feat means that you've now got an amazing stat build for your character right out the gate. Yeah, it's once per hour hunter defense, but if you keep investing in wisdom, which I think they get, and keep investing in nature every couple of levels with your skill proficiencies, you don't even need armor. Once per hour, you're basically the tank.
Yeah, you could jump with, this would be a really good addition to the monk build. The monk Grippli.
It would be awesome, yeah.
All right, GW, why don't you take Jungle Strider?
Yes, let's take a look. Jungle Strider. All right, another level 1. You are adept at dodging roots, foliage, and other jungle obstacles. You ignore difficult terrain in forests and jungles. In addition, when you use the acrobatics skill to balance on narrow surfaces or unseen ground made of plant material, you aren't flat-footed. And when you roll a success on one of these acrobatics checks, you get a critical success instead.
Love that. All successes are crit successes. That's always good.
We always like that.
Always
So, as long as you're in a forest, you're good.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's one of those things that's like, it's so niche, it's hard to find when it would be useful, but when it is useful, it is necessary. You're not flat-footed, and you can't. You're getting your full speed. It's really good.
Actually, this would also be really useful if you're going through swamp or marsh terrains, because usually those would impose some sort of a penalty to your movement speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it does kind of say in the language, like, basically as long as you're in an outdoor environment similar to a forest or jungle, you're pretty good. If you're in an urban campaign, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will take the next level 1 feat called Nocturnal Ripley. You tend to do the most of your You tend to do most of your hunting and work at night and have adapted to the requirements of nocturnal life. You gain dark vision, allowing you to see in darkness and dim light as well as you can see in bright light. However, in darkness you see in black and white only. And as usual with skill with feats like this, if you take this at first level, you can't retrain out of it.
Yeah. Again, it's just your eyeballs.
Yeah. Only 2 this time. Only 2 this time.
I'm going to retrain. I'm going to do it. That got dark. So, Fey influence, like everyone else, gives you access to some primal magic and a primal DC. It's great if you want to multicast, but we're going to go to Grippli Glide, which requires the webbed Grippli hands before. So it's a 1-action cost feat, level 5. You must have at least 1 hand free. You can use your webbed feet to guide your fall. You glide slowly towards the ground, 5 feet down, or 10 feet if you don't have both hands free, and up to 25 feet forward through the air, so long as you at least spend at least 1 action gliding each round and have not yet reached the ground. You can remain in the air until at the end of your turn. Oh, cool. So basically, like, it's not just like a slow fall. It actually lets you glide/fly and then hover at the end of your turn. That's kind of cool. It's not quite a fly, but it's still very cool.
Yeah. It reminds me of the gargoyles from that show back in the day.
Gargoyles?
Yes. I was like, wait, was it called gargoyles? Yeah, because like they couldn't fly, they could only glide. And I can, like, anything to break a fall is always nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, most definitely.
And it's also kind of cool because, like, if you're like in a dungeon and you fall into a pit trap with spikes, you can fall and then not fall on the spikes. And then...
I was just about to ask you. I was just like, well, I mean, since they can't, there's a feat that you can fall and not take any damage at all. Like, what would be the? I don't know about this one, but then when you talked about the spikes, like, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Or like an acid pit. Yeah, like you fall and then you hover, and then like someone can throw you a rope, or maybe your tongue can make a grapple check. I don't know. Either way, it's the hovering at the end of your turn is pretty solid.
Yeah, I believe you wouldn't make the tongue thing because that's a different heritage altogether.
Yeah. But you could still do something like, I'm thinking, throw your tongue to someone, they grab it, and then they pull you, and it's not your skin, so they're not going to get poisoned. Adam Jenner in the chat is saying this is the same as the Leshy glide feat. You can high jump and do this while in air. Very nice.
All right. GW, why don't you take Grippli Weapon Innovator? All
right. So level 5 feat. Prerequisite is Grippli Weapon Familiarity. God, that's a hard word. Familiarity. There we go. All right. Let's see. You've learned devious ways to make the most out of your Grippli weapons. Whenever you critically hit using a blowgun, hatchet, scythe, short bow, composite short bow, or Grippli weapon, you apply the weapon's critical specialized effect.
Yeah, and that's really cool because that's like, especially if they are not a fighter class with self-access to this weapon, but I mean like a fighter or a barbarian, you can get some really cool effects with that. Or if you're using the Grippli weapons, you get their base crit specialization effect, like a knockdown or a bleed or whatever. That's a really good feat.
It's a really nice add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to take a long tongue,
Yep.
level 5 feet. So if you're like, you know what, the Grippli weapons are cool, but I want to get, weird with my tongue muscle. Nope, shouldn't have said that.
You said it, you did it.
I did it, dang it. So the prerequisite for long tongue is the snap tongue Grippli heritage. You've learned to stretch your exceptionally long tongue beyond its original limits. When you use your tongue to deliver touch rain spells or perform very simple interact actions, you can do so at a distance that is 5 feet beyond your usual reach, which we still don't know.
Yeah. I'm still going with either whip or at least half the whip length, at least.
I wonder if it's somewhere in the mechanics and we just somehow didn't know. Oh. It's just so weird. Anyone who's listening to us desperately be confused. If you know the length of a Grippli's tongue in feet, please tell us what the hell this tongue does.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. What that tongue do. Because there's no unit of measurements, just your tongue shoots out. Okay.
You know what? At least for my table, I will say at least half the length of a whip, at least.
Well, what's the length of the length of a whip is what, 15 or 20 feet?
I think 10.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know about
maybe
that.
10 then, maybe 10 feet. I'll give 10 feet then at least.
I'd give it. See, I feel like 10 feet. 10 feet's okay.
10 feet's okay.
I feel like 15 might be more worth it. But hey, it's a GM call.
Yeah.
True.
All right. Next up is Tenacious Net. It's another level 5 feat. Escaping your nets is no simple task. The athletics DC to force open or escape your nets increase from 16 to 18. And after a creature you grab with the net escapes or forces open the net, stray strands of the net cling to the creature, causing them to remain flat-footed until the beginning of their next turn. Ooh. Nets are actually nets are one of those understated weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly, I envision them as mainly kind of like what do you call those tanglefoot bags. Love using them. It's one of those setups. It's a setup item.
Absolutely. That's actually one of the great thing about the whip too. It may not be heavy on the damage, but doing a disarm or a trip is a great setup.
Oh, you know me, PJ. I love the trip ability.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's so good. Like when Ichi shows up and then she just does smashy.
Yep.
We love a good setup here.
Okay. The 1-2 punch. Am I next or is it GW next?
I think I am.
Okay. Why don't you get Absorb
Toxin?
Because that sounds
all right.
good.
So this is a level 9 feat. Your skin readily absorbs poison and can consciously draw toxins into your body to spare others. Attempt a counteract check against the triggering effect. Your counteract level equals half your level rounded up. And for the roll, use either your class DC 10 or your spellcasting ability modifier plus your spellcasting proficiency bonus. If you counteract the triggering effect, you end the effect for all other creatures in the area. Ooh. However, you must still save against the effect with a 2 penalty to the initial save. Interesting.
So yeah, you wouldn't be, you would not have that Grippli heritage, which, actually no, you can because.
Yeah, no, it's only you're not immune to diseases
Yeah.
or poisons. So unless you are a certain level of champion with the right champion feat, then you should be able to take this no problem.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting. It's really interesting, especially, this is how you deal with cloud spells, harmful cloud spells.
Yeah. Your counteract level equals half your level rounded up. And for the roll, use either your class DC minus 10 or your spellcasting ability modifier plus your spellcasting proficient bonus. Interesting. That's
And I think it's really interesting that this effect can like help everyone in your party too. Like you can nullify it for them as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like you basically just like absorb into your secreted, exuding poisonous body this toxin, and then no one would get it. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I think it'd be useful against, like I said, spells like Cloud Kill or something.
I could. Depends if it's. I need to look at Cloud Kill again. If it's I think it's poison. It's not necrotic damage, right?
I don't think so.
Or negative damage, I should say.
All
Why
right.
don't you? Is it my turn?
I think it's my turn. Next up is a level 9 feat called Ricocheting Leap. This is definitely like a wrestling ability. You quickly use your momentum to topple and spring off foes. Yeah, this is Rey Mysterio right here. You can use the wall jump to make additional jumps off of a creature larger than you as if they are walls. Once per turn, you can make an additional jump off of a creature in this way. You can also attempt to shove or trip that creature as a free action. No, this
That's
is
so good.
This is Ricochet from Mucha Lucha.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, I love that show.
Oh, it's so good. What was their little swear phrase? Like, "Ay basura," like "Ay garbage." Oh man, I love this because like you're just jumping from multiple people or multiple points of contact, and if you do it on people, you can also, as a free action, shove or trip them. That's really good.
It's really nice. Especially, oh man, imagine playing Monk with this.
I was just thinking that. I was like,
yeah.
that'll be really good for a monk.
Yeah.
That is definitely the point where you're like, haha, I'm going to jump off of you, and I'm going to hit that guy with a flurry of blows. Tongue Tether. This is a level 9 feat. This requires the Snap Tongue Grippli heritage. Your tongue can momentarily latch on as readily as your hands. So now we're getting that ability. So as long as you can freely open your mouth, coffee burp, you do not need free hands in order to disarm, grab an edge, or trip. If you had the long tongue feat, you can disarm, grab an edge, and trip with your tongue at a distance that is 5 feet beyond your normal reach. Now, I've been... Yeah?
I was going to say,
5.
and we still don't know what the minimum is still.
Well, now it's funny you say that. I've been talking to Adam Generator in the chat, and what Adam Generator is suggesting, that rules is written, the heritage uses your normal hand reach. So your basic grasp with the hand is what you can do with your tongue. Which I don't know why that would be good. Like, oh, my hands are full, okay? But aside from that, it feels kind of too limited, in my opinion.
Yeah, I still feel at least 10 feet at least.
Yeah.
Would make sense. I'm also wondering if that's off of first edition. I'm not an expert of Pathfinder 1E, but
We're definitely all bummed at that. Like, wait, only 5 feet? Wait, for real though? Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. We're like, yeah, it's a 10-foot, 15-foot, 20-foot long tongue. What's that? Only 5? Damn.
I'm gonna keep hope alive though.
Hope alive, yeah. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that it is just a regular hand reach, anything adjacent, but it can work around grapples and having your hands busy.
I just
and
thought
the
of
feet
something.
gives you an
I
extra
just thought
5
of
foot.
something.
1 second. The feet gives you extra 5 foot of reach, but they're suggesting that if you are enlarged to a large-sized creature, that by proxy of being large, your reach would be about 10, 15 feet plus normally. So,
PJ, I just thought of
Yeah.
something. If you're grappled with your arms pinned down, use your tongue and use that range. What is it? Spell. You can actually inspell your tongue and slap them with like shocking grasp with your tongue. Then.
all right, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie, I like that. Like someone puts you in a headlock, you're like, nah, touch them, shock them, they let go.
You did it again.
I did. Why am I so possessed to make this noise?
All right, GW. Why don't you take I believe Envenomed Edge?
Envenomed Edge. Level 13. With a combination of your poison glands and herbal concoctions, you can consistently deliver venomous attacks when you hit an enemy's weak points. Ooh. When you critically hit using a strike with a weapon, unarmed attack, and deal slashing and piercing damage with that strike, you deal an additional 1d4 persistent poison damage to your target.
Ooh, I love persistent poison damages. I love persistent damage in general.
Well,
Remind me, how long does persistent poison damage last?
generally speaking, it lasts until they make a recovery save, just about. But I believe that they are guaranteed to at least take 1 round of damage before that recovery save would be factored in. So it's
Gotcha.
at least 1d4 poison damage. And I like that it's effectively free. You don't have to worry about what weapon you're using. If you crit on the strike, there you go, dealing slashing or piercing damage.
Yeah.
So as long as you're using a weapon or anything that does those damage types, you get a free 1d4 poison damage.
You know, we've been talking about like Grippli, like was it monk or fighter and all that stuff. Grippli alchemist.
That could be interesting. I know you love that alchemist poison build. Adam Generator does clarify it's a maximum of 1 minute. True. If you're fighting for more than 6 rounds, then something weird is happening.
Yeah, that's what 10 rounds.
Right?
1 minute is 10 rounds.
Yes, 1 minute is 10 rounds. That's right.
Yeah.
I said 6 rounds. 10 rounds is 1 minute.
Yeah. And I guess I'll take the final capstone feat here, which is called Grippli Weapon Expertise at level 13. Prereq is the Grippli Weapon Familiarity. You fight with effortless expertise with Grippli weapons. Whenever you gain a class feature that grants you expert or greater proficiency in a given weapon or weapons, you also gain that proficiency in the blowgun, hatchet, scythe, shortbow, and composite shortbow or Grippli weapons in which you're trained. Honestly, I'm still a little surprised that scythe would be considered a Grippli weapon, but I guess it does make sense. You live in like dense foliage like environments.
Now I'm wondering if it, because when I hear scythe, I think of like the big like Grim Reaper scythe.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it's like also just like the little hand.
I think those would be commas though. No.
Well, you're both kind of right. But a scythe in this one is the 2-handed one, and it's pretty good because like I want to say it used to be 2d4 with a reach. It's now like 1d10, and it's got like trip and reach. It's amazing.
It's the traits are deadly, D10, and trip.
Yep, deadly d10. So on a crit, you're not only doing 1d10, but you're doing another 1d10 for free. Of course, with all the multiplication going on in there. And I think it's a sickle, but a comma basically is a sickle.
You're right. I was also going to say a scythe is also part of the polearm group. So you have that build where you have with polearms.
Now, here's a fun question. Can you use a sickle with Mauler? It's a 2-handed weapon.
Is this I thought sickles are one-handed.
No, I'm sorry, scythes.
Okay.
Scythes.
Oh, yeah.
My bad, scythes.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I think it's plausible.
Yeah.
Either way, so that was the Grippli. I really love all the poison damage they're capable of. I really like what the tongue could be. I'm a little disappointed. I know everyone in the chat saying, but it makes sense. A frog's tongue is this size. Yeah, no, y'all make really good points, but I want a. This is going so bad. I want a very long tongue.
We want very long tongues here.
You want
Yeah.
Yoshi tongue. You want Yoshi tongues.
Exactly. The tongue is good. The tongue is absolutely good. I think it was just because there was no actual distance listed, the description made it sound like it could go up to like 15, 20 feet. You know what I mean?
Honestly, they should have listed it.
Yeah, and I respect the rules as written. And thank you so much, Adam Generator, for coming to the chat and giving us the inside scoop. But I want it to be longer.
Clip.
So, GW, what did you think of the Grippli ancestry? Now that we did our deep dive on it.
We started with it being, very wholesome and pure and everything, and then we got deeper with like the poisons on poisons and then extra more poison and then sucking up more poison. They are very dangerous people. I really like that.
Yeah.
And just that they have an ability to fall, take no damage, and glide. This very interesting build.
Froggy
Different
walks.
possible builds.
Froggy walks.
Froggy walks.
Frog walks.
Frog walks.
I feel like it's the epitome of was it mistaking kindness for weakness is wrong, so be soft but be ready.
I would definitely say the Grippli are the halflings of the Mwangi Expanse, kind of.
Maybe.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Because I think they get as tall as 2 feet. Is that right?
They're small.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a small type creature. So yeah, they're anywhere between like under 5 feet to I think tiny is like a few inches. So like 1 foot tall. So between like 1 to 5 feet.
They're about halflings. They're about halfling size.
Halfling gnome.
Yeah. But I would say,
wow.
PJ, did you remember when I said I had one ancestor? The ancestor that was my favorite on our first Mwangi Expanse video was.
I don't recall.
Well,
you mean the Konrasu?
No, it wasn't the Karamatsu. The Grippli was my pick for my favorite ancestry to come out of the Mwangi Expanse. If I was going to play any of the Mwangi Expanse ancestries off the bat, it would be Grippli because in the other game...
The tongue?
Yeah, the tongue. But also in another game, in the other system, I played a one-shot where I played a frog-like creature that was a blood hunter. And I made it so he had that blood hunter where he mixed up all the toxins. He had the poisonous skin and everything. He was the last of his tribe, so he became like kind of a short little gnome size like monster beast slayer.
Nice.
It's like the frog witcher.
It reminds me of that Ninja Turtle comic. Was it The Last Ronin or whatever? Where like one of the Ninja Turtles like is the only survivor, and he's not doing any spoilers. Right, and that was the two ancestries for today: the Grippli and the Goloma. Bunch of eyes and a bunch of poison, and I love them both. Thank you so much again to our good friend and guest G Dubs. It was awesome to have you. Can't wait to have you back again. Why don't you tell everyone that? Aw, thank you. It's much fun. We're all loving. We're all love. So before I get way too distracted, because I'm so prone to do that, why don't you tell us once again where we can find you on that sweet, sweet internet and just who you are?
I'm simply GW. Hi. You can find me on IG and Twitter under GW005, 2 B's and 2 zeros. You can also find me on Clarion Dawn, which is a sci-fi audio drama that I did with some awesome voice talent. Find it on clariondon.com or any of your favorite podcast platforms. Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Michael Powell, you know the deal. Who are you and where can we find you on that sweet, sweet internet?
Well, as always, I am the dastardly, dashing Michael Powell, and you can find me all over the internet on my social medias, which is at Mr. Kapow, that's MRKAPAO, or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell Does Stuff, because I do a lot of stuff, like my YouTube channel, Fantastic Tales of Adventure. And on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm on the Toyzilla Network here on Twitch for a little show called Toyzilla Live, where we talk about your toy news and collectible stuff, and usually do a deep dive into some kind of random nostalgia stuff. So a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. And how about you, PJ?
Oh, thanks for asking. You know me. My name is PJ McGaw. You can find me all over the internet at pj.mcgaw on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Come find me, come friend me, and let's have a good time on the Big Four. When I'm not here with these amazing legends, you can find me and the rest of the legends for Edge of Legend, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/Nat20 Productions Official. Look forward to seeing you there as we become legends right along with you, and can't wait for more announcements in the future. Stay tuned, stay tight. Until then, see you same Nat time, same Nat channel, here at the table.
Bye.
Be safe, everyone. Bye. Bye.